Here we are at part 10 of our series on the AFX Super 2 Armature repair, fixing both the commutator plate and the wiring itself, trying to save it without unwinding and rewinding it. So right now I'm just trying to get this surface cleaned up. We saw in the last video we got the copper part of the tab reattached to the armature plate. So now we want to kind of get this cleaned up so we can get a nice solder on it. It's looking good, it's all there, but we haven't unified the two pieces of copper yet to ensure they're going to get a great contact. So we're going to work on getting that cleaned up and then give it a shot and see if we can make this thing all one piece again. Looking pretty good. You notice how it's kind of shiny in the middle. That's where we were trying to sand it perfectly flat. The reason it does that, and what I've found is on this first generation Super 2, this kind of yellow version, that when they attached them, they had this little natural bow to them, or bowlish kind of look to them. I believe that is because the windings were so thick, and that the way they were putting them on there, they had to bow them down to crimp the three prongs around them. So instead of continue to sand it in that direction, which would wear away at the plate itself, I just went back to looking at them individually. But the biggest piece of this was, if I sand it on a perfectly flat surface, it's going to show me where the high spots are and how I need to work around that. So now I'm just getting it cleaned up, getting it prepped, making sure I don't have any glue residue anywhere nearby. Get all of that off of there, because when we get ready to solder this thing, we want it as perfectly clean as possible. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. Now I'm going to just put a little bit of this stuff on here to make sure flux. For whatever reason, it just completely escaped me what it was called. You can see it's looking pretty good. We'll put a little bit of this flux on here. That way it kind of cleans as we go to solder to make sure we get a good bond. I can't believe I completely forgot what flux was called. Glad we remembered. It's important. And having good flux is important too. I can't tell you, I've used some pretty bad ones over the years, but come across this flux here, and it's done an amazing job. And I actually stumbled across it from watching some electrical repair videos on YouTube, of all places. And I use a battery operated soldering iron. I don't use it a lot, so having the ability to go for long periods of time doesn't bother me. I can turn it on and off, and I like it too because it's got a digital meter on it. I can tell exactly what my temperature is, and I find the sweet spot, and I can just turn it on and off and adjust as necessary and know what I'm going after. But here I'm getting ready to do the solder joint, and I'm going to try to zoom in on this thing as close as I possibly can, so you can kind of see what's going on. That wet spot there, that's the piece we're trying to join the two tabs together. Hopefully you'll see these things come together. They already both had solder on them. So basically we're just heating it up, re-liquefying, and letting them bond, and then getting off of it. So there you go. Once it turns shiny silver, I'm satisfied that because I overlapped them, it's the way I decided to go, because I felt like that was going to be the best contact, and then I would sand and file it down accordingly. But this way I don't have to worry about the joint flexing and breaking. I know there's really good contact there. Yeah, that looks really good. And so not only is it bonded at the edge, but it's bonded underneath and where the two overlap each other. So here's this good still frame where you can kind of see what's going on. And then we'll clean it up, sand it up a little bit, and see what it looks like. And there's quite a bit of sand in here, so patient with me. A little bit at a time, right? We don't want to wear through the copper. It's extremely important. We've gotten this far. We don't want to have to start all over or do it again. Use a flat surface because it's going to make the best results. You could sand it by hand, which I'll probably do some detail that way. We want to sand this thing and get it as flat as we can on that side. But what I'm not doing is grabbing the whole entire plate and trying to sand it down. I'm really focusing on that one tab to try to get it flat. And there was a lot of sanding. Don't let the shortness of the video confuse you. I did quite a bit, but I just snipped out a bunch of it because it was the same stuff over and over. Here we're going to do a little cleanup, get a good visual of what we got. And I just use some electrical contact cleaner, nothing special here. You can use isopropyl alcohol, anything like that. And it gets all the junk off so you can really see what's going on, see how things are shaping up. So let's take a closer look and see what we got so far. Yeah, that's looking pretty sporty. And it's not thin right there. There's a little bit of trash. And there's like a little nip out of it, but that's not gonna hurt a thing in the world. That's all original, all good there. Yeah, putting this little tab back on I'm pretty shocked with it, to be perfectly honest. I never thought it would come along this well, but it has actually turned out really good. Do a little bit more trimming here. I'm just truing it up to make sure that the copper aligns with the fiber plate itself. And then when we wrap it, almost want like a little bit of a notch in there for that wire, so when you kind of pull it snug, it'll pull to the inside rather than slipping off the outside. So I almost like it to taper in slightly, just a little bit as it comes towards the inside of the comp plate. Fine detailing. And really, from looking at it from this side, where the contacts are, you really can't even tell it's been repaired. It's because the pieces that we put back on are almost all under the actual copper itself. The only way you can really tell is when you flip it over, you can see the gray there. But otherwise, it's really hard to tell from this side, as you can see. And I figured I might as well sand it down and get it looking as good as I possibly can at this point, right? Because if you need to back up or do something different, now's the time. And so we did do the solder. It had some solder on it, so file it down, get it flat, and that way once we go to put it back on the armature core, all we have to worry about is just the windings themselves, and then that, like any other armature, should be the lowest point. I kind of rub it with my fingers here to get not only see, but to get a feel for, are there any high spots? Is there anything sharp or hanging down that might catch? And if so, address it accordingly. Generally, it's looking pretty good. As we get a little closer to the end here, we can get you a close-up of it, see what it looks like as a final product. Do a little cleanup here. Don't forget to click on the bell and make sure that you click on the subscribe button. And that way you'll get updated with all the latest videos. I know I post a lot on Facebook groups of various different slot cars, but this way you'll get the earliest alerts. Sometimes I'm a couple of days late getting them posted on the social media platforms. So this way you can keep up to what's going on and you'll be the first to know when there are new releases out. And I will say that there are some other projects that I'm working on, some other Super 2 armature repairs, and then we're also going to do a complete restoration on the Super 2 that I intend to sell on eBay as well. So I'll walk through the whole process that you'll get to actually bid on that car once I'm done with it. Here we go, kind of a final shot of what's going on here and how things turned out. There's a little bit of a dark piece on that inner portion, but it's actually almost like a stain. There's some copper material under that little tiny black spot, but there's not enough defect there to cause any trouble at all. And I don't want to sand it down and take a chance on messing something else up. That looks pretty good. Thank you for watching.